Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the boxed block crochet stitch. This is really fun stitch. It is a 2-row repeat. It consists of chains, single crochets, and double crochets. Typically, I only have samples to show you. I usually give away my blankets as soon as they're made. I just happen to have these two on hand so I can show you what a finished blanket looks like. This stitch is so much fun because it virtually doesn't matter what kind of colors you use. It looks just fantastic. Now, I'm going to assume that you know how to do these stitches. If you do not, I will have links down in the description for video tutorials on how to do those. All right, so let's get started on row number 1. Okay, for this stitch pattern, you're going to need a multiple of 5 plus 3, so it doesn't matter how wide you want your project to be. You're going to crochet multiples of 5 and then add 3. Then we're going to start from the second chain from the hook. Now remember, this loop on your hook never counts as a stitch, so we're going to count down 1 and 2, and then we're going to put a single crochet into this first chain. Then you're going to add a single crochet into the second one and then all the way across until you get to the end of your row. Row number 2 is the first row in your 2-row repeat. So once you get to the end of your row with all your single crochets, I want you to chain 1 and turn. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so working in that first single crochet from the row below, I want you to add another single crochet in that stitch. And then in the stitch next to that, I want you to add another single crochet. So we have 2 single crochets at the beginning of this row. Now chain 3. And skip 3 single crochets, and in the 4th single crochet, add another single crochet. And in the stitch next to that, another single crochet. So we have 2 single crochets, chain 3, and continue to repeat that until you get to the last 5 stitches in this row. All right, so once you get to the last 5, you need to make sure that you have 5 stitches left. If you don't, make sure that you go back and check your work. So you need 2 single crochets, a chain 3, skip 3 stitches in the 4th stitch, single crochet, chain 3, skip 3, in the next stitch, single crochet, chain 3. So till you get to the end of your row, then you have 5 stitches left. When you get to the end, skip 3. In the 4th, add a single crochet. In the last one, make sure that you don't miss this stitch, single crochet. Now chain 2 and turn. So this finishes the first row of our 2-row repeat, but this is actually row number 2 in our project. All right, so moving on to row number 3, this is row number 2 of the 2-row repeat. So you've chained 2, and that counts as a stitch. So I want you to skip over those 2 single crochets, and working in that chain 3, we're going to put 5 double crochets. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. You might have to move it over a little bit. There's 4. And there's 5. There's your first set of boxed block stitches. Okay, so we're just going to continue to do the same thing all the way across this row. Skip those 2 single crochets from the row below. Work your 5 double crochets into that chain 3 space. And then once you get to the end, I want you to skip that first single crochet, and working in that second single crochet at the very end of your row, I want you to put a double crochet in this stitch. And that finishes row number 2 of your 2-row repeat. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to repeat row 1 of our 2-row repeat. So repeating row number 2, but row number 1 of the 2-row repeat. Hopefully that makes sense. So put those 2 single crochets in those first 2 stitches. Now you need to chain 3, skip 3 stitches, and this should take you to the 5th double crochet from that set of 5 double crochets from the row below. So put a double crochet in the top of that stitch. And in that first double crochet from the second set of 5 from the row below, I want you to put a single crochet in the top of that and chain 3. And you're just going to continue to repeat this across the entire row. At this point, it becomes really easy to see the tops of those double crochets, and you can just simply work right into them. Now, when you get to the end of the row, I need you to put a single crochet in the top of that last double crochet from the 5 double crochets, and then a double crochet in the top of that turning chain from the row below, chain 2 and turn, and now you're going to repeat the second row of our 2-row repeat, but row number 3 for our project. So just repeat rows number 2 and number 3 until you get to the length that you want. Okay, so now for my favorite part of this whole entire stitch pattern, we are going to change color. Real quick, let me give you a recommendation on changing colors with this particular stitch pattern. Make sure that you're working both rows of that repeat before you change colors. So make sure you have that single crochet chain 3 row and the double crochet row and in one color, and then change colors. It looks way more consistent, a whole lot nicer. All right, so I'm going to work that last double crochet in that last stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to grab my new color and drape it over my hook. I'm going to pull it through those last 2 loops on my hook, just as if I'm finishing that double crochet. Now you can carry your first color up the sides if you want, because you work 2 rows before you come back to it, or you can cut that off and you can weave in those ends. Either way, it's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to continue to repeat rows 2 and rows 3 until I get to the length that I want. That is all there is for me today, folks. If you missed anything, feel free to go back and rewatch. I will have a link down in the description below for written instructions for the boxed block stitch on the Ruby Grace blog, as well as links to patterns featuring the boxed block stitch in the Ruby Grace shop. Thank you so much for stopping by. Love your face.